Alrighty. We are live from the War Room alongside Chris Schroyer. I'm Shrikar Jender, and I'm back.
The man is back.
I was gone this weekend. I was in Chico. I had a great time. I was visiting a friend. But yeah, we're back in the MMA groove. Contender Series was tonight, the last week of the season. And it was a pretty fitting season finale because this whole season was epic. This was probably the best year of Contender Series in terms of overall talent that I think we've ever seen, in terms of entertainment value, in terms of the fights. I think we saw potentially the best fight in Contender Series history and the best knockout in Contender Series history in back-to-back weeks. It just goes to show this is why we watch the sport. This is why we love the sport. And this is why we love Contender Series, because we get to find talent like this on a weekly basis for, a couple months. So it was good season. Chris, what do you think as a whole?
Dude, this was the best Contender Series season to date. Obviously, it's a lot harder. I feel like it's hard to say that because we don't really know how these guys are going to pan out, but I feel like you have to evaluate the seasons in the way that you don't know how these fighters are going to pan out, because I feel like it's cheating a little bit to go back and say, oh, well, this guy and this guy and that woman was on this season, so, it has to be the best. No, you have to evaluate just straight up fights in the moment. And I think that is where the rawest and purest analysis comes from. And to be completely honest, every single episode, except for maybe week 1, was just absolutely captivating. All these fighters went out and just poured their absolute heart and soul into the octagon. And I really don't think there has been a better season than this. I was staring at my screen the entire time. And sometimes there might be 1 or 2 fights where you look away, go on TikTok or whatever, and you just need a little bit of a break. But I mean, also this season finale, man, that was the perfect cap to an amazing season. I really don't think, as fight fans, we could have gotten anything better. And I'm sure you agree as well, Shrikar.
100%. We're going to get into these fights for the season finale. If you're new here, make sure you like, subscribe, turn those post notifications on. Obviously, we're live streaming right now. We're going to have our predictions for UFC Vancouver, Reinier de Ridder versus Brendan Allen. Hopefully, we'll get it out on Thursday or Friday. It'll be out one of those days. We're aiming for Thursday, guys. I'm sorry. We're low-key coming with these a little bit late, but we'd like to get them out a little bit earlier. We're trying our best. But yeah, there's a lot of exciting content on the way. And then obviously next week we got UFC 321, a behemoth of a card in Abu Dhabi, headlined by Tom Aspinall versus Cyril Gane. So very, very exciting few weeks ahead in the MMA world. But let's get straight into these fights. We're going to start with Wes Schultz getting it done over Mario Mingai.
Dog.
Well. Look who's earned himself a little respect. I used to be a Wes Schultz hater. I was not impressed with his performance with Mansur Abdul Malik.
I am not impressed by your performance.
I was not impressed by your performance. But after that performance, I'll put a little respect on your name, man.
Oh, yeah.
Look, I don't think he's going to make a huge splash in the UFC. Probably won't be a contender or anything. But pulling off a Suluev stretch on Contender Series,
that's crazy.
That's legendary. That's one of those wild, once-in-a-career submissions that keeps your name in the highlight reels forever. So yeah, respect where it's due. Wes Schultz had a moment that'll live on long after this season. We are going to continuously see this submission as one of the coolest submissions in Contender Series history.
Yeah, no, I very much agree. I mean, a Suluev stretch is very hard to pull off. And I think the way that he got it was even more impressive. I mean, he pushed up, oh my God, I'm going to butcher his name.
Mario Mingai.
Mingai. Yeah, Mingai. He pushed Mingai up against the fence. He was doing some good clinch work. And then ultimately he hopped on the back of Mingai, and Mingai was doing a good job of trying to shake him off. Although Schultz did have his hooks in with his legs. And when he was getting shaken off Mingai's back, he did the very smart thing to regain his posture by grabbing the left leg of Mingai, sweeping it out from under him, and ultimately just perfectly and seamlessly putting himself in a Suluev stretch and having the strength to pull his leg back in a way that no one wants to have their leg pulled. And he got it done. And yeah, I think you said it perfectly, Shrikar. That is definitely a submission that's going to live on in Dana White Contender Series history, and the respect is very, very well earned.
100%. Again, I can't believe I'm saying this because I was kind of dogging on Wes Schultz before this fight. Wasn't really a big fan, but I will put some respect on your name, Wes Schultz. But two guys I will not put my respect on. Azamat Nuftalayev and Jovan Leka.
Yeah.
Yikes, man.
That was a stinker.
Just a miserable fight all around, especially from Nuftalayev, man. That was rough.
That was.
I really hope there was something going on behind the scenes, like maybe he was sick or injured, because if not, that cardio was atrocious. Yep. On one round of energy at that slow pace, can't happen at this level. Leka did what he needed to do to win, took the last 2 rounds, stayed steady, but it wasn't impressive. Against a gassed opponent like that, he could have done way more, maybe even pushed for the finish. He got the win, sure, but didn't get the UFC contract. I didn't see it at the time. Dana White didn't see it either. Probably the worst fight of the season so far.
Yeah, I'll put it up there. I don't think that I was anywhere impressed with either of their performances.
I mean, did Nuftalayev even land like a single punch? Did he throw a single punch? Like,
let's check. He actually threw 75 strikes. Landed 75 strikes. He threw 87.
Bullshit stats.
Yeah. I mean, only 9 significant strikes landed, 16 attempted. So yeah, I mean, not too much volume there on either side. He did rack up 5 minutes and 45 seconds of control time, but I think that Jovan Leka, the one good thing he has going for him, and Dana White did mention it when handing out the contracts, is he's very young. He's only 23. So there is a lot of room for him to grow. And I think that we will be seeing him on Contender Series again, in my opinion. Obviously, he needs to hit the regional circuit a little bit and kind of find his bearings and really make a name for himself there. But I do think that he does have a good making to be a solid heavyweight. Obviously, we saw the grappling is there. He did have a few submission attempts that he could have cinched up, but I think it was just a little bit lackadaisical in that department. And obviously, like you said, Azamat just looked atrocious. He really did. And Jovan got dominated in that first round pretty much. He was controlled for nearly the entire round. So I think that both of these guys, especially Nuftalayev, really needs to take a step back and evaluate their future trajectory. But Jovan is young, so I'll give him that, and I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. And I would like to see him back because this heavyweight division does need a little bit of a bolstering in the UFC.
What's so ironic is this was the one fight like I was most excited for. Like I was really high on Nuftalayev. Like I thought this guy was a beast.
Right.
Like what he was doing on the regional scene. Jovan Leka, obviously, you mentioned he was 23 years old. I thought his ceiling was pretty high, especially for a heavyweight division that kind of needed an injection of life into it.
Right.
I almost knocked over my water bottle, just spilled over. That would have been bad. But hey, I mean, that's a good, I guess that's how fitting this fight was. It's almost like water being spilled onto your desk. You just don't want to deal with it.
Yeah, you just don't want that to happen.
But we'll move on. Let's go to Michael Oliveira. Let's go to Michael Oliveira, man. Let's go to a contract winner. Sharpshooter, man. Shooter. Bow, bow. That was hell of a performance from Oliveira.
Crazy.
You knew the power was real going in. This guy's been starching people left and right. But what stood out tonight was the patience. After dropping Valenzuela multiple times, he didn't just rush in and blow his gas tank. He stayed composed and ended it on his terms. That's next level fight IQ combined with raw power. Yep. If he fights like that in the UFC, he's going to ruin a few people's nights for sure.
I agree.
I know you're a little bit higher on him. Well, we're both high on him.
Yeah.
How could you not be?
I think that fight IQ really shows a lot about who he is as a fighter. There's not too many fighters, if any, that I've really seen set up strikes like that. I mean, he kind of just throws his hands out there very with a lot of half power. It's almost like he's just trying to get you to think that that's where he's going to throw the strike. and then he waits for you to come over the top to hit you with a nasty counter. I mean, it's very composed, and I think that that's what you look for in a fighter. Someone who, it did get rocked. I'm going to give it to Valenzuela. First of all, he is one tough guy. He was eating a bunch of shots that would put out nearly anyone who was standing in front of Michael Oliveira. But I think that I think after Oliveira got tagged a few times, I mean, even when he did get hit flush, obviously you saw him maybe stagger back half a step, a quarter of a step. And I think what I was most impressed with was when he was in the face of adversity that Valenzuela was throwing back at him, he was still very calm walking forward. It was almost like a Terminator-esque performance. He was not fazed by anything. And I think that that is so important. And obviously you put another power striker in front of him, someone who has maybe a little bit more fight IQ than Valenzuela, that might bring trouble, or someone with a little bit of a longer reach, because Oliveira did have quite the reach advantage in this fight. I think that regardless, Oliveira, I was very impressed with that performance. And first of all, that dude's back is crazy. He looks like a silverback gorilla, like literally Dorito back to the fullest. For all my gym goers out there, you know what I'm talking about.
The Dorito back. Hey, what they know about the Dorito back, man?
Yeah, he looked like he had a Dorito back. And I mean, we didn't really get to see too much of his grappling skills, but I really didn't even need to see it to be impressed, to be quite frank with you guys. But I was very impressed with the patience and the fight IQ, and I think that could carry him a long way in the UFC. And he's 9-0 in his prime. I believe he's just under 30. Let me double check that. 27. He is literally in the prime of his career. I think we're going to be calling another Oliveira's name for a little while in the UFC, and I'm all for it.
Yeah, might already be one of the most fun signings of the season. When you look at what this guy could do, the highlight reel that he could build. Again, Valenzuela is a very tough guy. This could have ended in the first round, and for him to stick around that long, props to him too. But Oliveira, the sharpshooter, great job.
Agreed.
All right, this was straight up one of the comebacks of the season.
Oh my God.
Marwan Rahiki's chin might not be the most trustworthy chin. Dude got dropped twice in the first round and looked out of it. But somehow he gathered himself and completely picked his opponent apart in the next round. Brutal elbows, smart adjustments, great composure under fire. That's the kind of fighter who deserves to be in the UFC. He just needs to stay far, far away from heavy hitters until that chin gets some rest. But props to him. What a turnaround.
Yeah. I mean, I agree too. I don't even know if we can say his chin isn't trustworthy. I mean, I think that could be a valid point, because he even said it himself in his interviews that that's never happened to him before. So for him to face that level of adversity and then overcome that, I mean, absolutely amazing stuff from Marwan Rahiki. And I was very impressed with what he did in the in-fight adjustments that he made. And I mean, I think we should be giving props to is it Anais?
Anais Malumba.
Anais, excuse me, I'm sorry, I'm butchering names today. Anais Malumba. I mean, that fight should have ended. I really don't think that Malumba could have done anything more. I think that was just pure survival instincts that we saw from Marwan Rahiki that, not many fighters have, especially for someone who's never even been in that situation before. He's also 23. He's 6-0. I mean, he doesn't have the resume under him to warrant to warrant an analyst to say, all right, this guy's going to be able to deal with that and then put on that performance. And Malumba put on such a great performance that Dana White wants to see him again. And I completely agree with that. I think that you put anyone else in front of Anais.
You got it, man.
Well, spit it out, Chris. Spit it out. Anais Malumba. I think you put anyone else in front of him, that fight is ending in the first round. And those overhands, man. I don't know who else can.
Overhand of doom.
Yeah, literally. I mean, it was insane. That first round, I think that might have been, I'm going to say that was a top 3 round actually top 2. I'm going to say that was a top 2 round in the Contender Series this year. I'm going to give the second round of Martinetti versus Vologdin as number 1.
Yeah.
Yes, as number one, but I think round one of Malumba versus Rahiki definitely takes number two because that
Easily.
was that was action packed
And I
as
think that one
much
could
as you can make it.
also arguably be number one if you
It
really
could
want to think
arguably
about
be
it.
number one, yeah.
Because I think there are two different types of rounds where Martinetti, Vologden were literally just like just swinging on each other, and they were both
Right.
just Terminators, right? But this
Yeah.
one was very much a wild round, like very, very high action, high octane pace. By the end of round one, Martinetti and Vologden were essentially tired. You know, like they'd pretty much gassed themselves out. These guys were coming in fresh, lots and lots of action. Obviously, we saw the 3 knockdowns. We saw Malumba get knocked down. We saw Rahiki get knocked down, almost get knocked out of the fight. Like, I think that has a very, very big argument to be won. But obviously, we're talking about fights as a whole. Martinetti Vologden's got it for a pretty long time.
Obviously.
Stop that.
No, I don't know. I think that was the best fight of Contender Series this year. Obviously, that was probably fight of the year. If you're counting every other fight, I think it's pretty simple that it's Josh Van Royval, and then Vologden versus Martinetti.
I think Vologden and Martinetti's got the one spot. Like
I think it could just because of pure damage. I would not debate that at all. I would completely agree. Like if you told me one of the two were number one, I would say, yeah, you got it.
When we go and do our, like towards the end of the year, we're going to do awards and all that stuff when the UFC has its downtime and we have that break. My fight of the year is going to be Vologden and Martinetti, regardless of UFC or Contender Series. I think that is the best MMA fight of the year. I agree. No question. Across any promotion, that is the best. That was an absolute amazing fight. I think I've gone back and rewatched that fight probably about like 4 times since it happened.
Yeah,
I was enamored with it. It was such a good fight. But in this fight, what a comeback from Rahiki. And we'll get to the main event here, or not a co-main event. Juan Diaz.
Oh my gosh.
Damn, man.
That sounded like a baseball bat hit Kwon Ill's face.
Yeah, that spinning elbow from Juan Diaz was absolutely vicious. That is the kind of knockout that earns you a UFC contract on the spot. He was already looking sharp before that, holding his own against a guy who'd fought his way into a title shot and won, right? But that finish, pure violence. After the fight, I was like, give this man a contract, a bonus, an award, a pension, just hand him everything, man. Like that was highlight reel. That was highlight reel material that people are going to be replaying all season. I think that was one of the coolest Contender Series knockouts ever. Probably as an argument as the best Contender Series knockout we've seen.
I agree. Yeah,
in terms of
that was
more technical, like everything about that. He was, by the way, he was winning the round. There was like 10 seconds left in the round and he was winning.
Yeah, and he went
to just pull out the spinning elbow of doom for no reason. Like that's crazy. That's different level of dog. You know, like that's a different level.
It was actually insane. I mean, I really don't think that anything could top that. And I think the craziest thing is that before this year, honestly, before August 19th, I believe that is when 319 was. Before that fight, that pay-per-view, there have only been 8 spinning back elbow knockouts in UFC history. There were 2 that night and 1 today. What is going on? I think
it's the year of the spinning elbow. It's every event's gonna have one. Every event's gonna have one.
I agree. I mean, I first of all, I think Protest set it in motion. Lerone Murphy said, "All right, I'm gonna follow that up with something crazy." Juan Diaz said,
"Didn't someone have one before Protest? Am I tripping?
No,
someone had one before him.
Who? Let me double check that.
Bruno Ferreira. But that wasn't this year, was it? That wasn't this year.
I don't think it was this year because I'm looking it up and technically I don't know if it was classified as a spinning back elbow, which is a little bit weird because the last spinning back elbow before Protest was, according to my sources, which could be wrong, was Yuri Prohaska against Dominic Reyes.
That's cap. Bruno Ferreira got one against Dustin Stoltzfus last year. Yurian Reyes was like
Right.
2021. That could not have been.
Yeah, that
the
was
last
2021.
time.
Let's
Could not have
see.
been the
Let's
last
see.
time that happened. But regardless, insane knockout. Spinning elbows are the new meta. What's up, Tyler Fish? Yes, they are. They are
the new meta.
The new meta. Like everyone's gonna start spamming. I mean, John Silva almost landed some before he got hit with his own against Diego Lopez. Like,
oh well, technically Diego Lopez landed one too. So I mean,
everyone is going for it.
It is the new meta. It's like a move that wasn't patched in UFC 5, which it's not because elbows are crazy in that video game. So
what's crazy is they're all landing perfectly. Like they're all landing right where they need to be.
They're landing flush, which is honestly for the better.
When someone attempts a spinning elbow, besides John Silva, we don't talk about John Silva. Besides John Silva, when people are throwing the spinning elbows, they're hitting clean. They're hitting very clean, and they're not missing. I think that's what I find crazy about, the whole new like movement around the spinning elbow. But this guy, I think you fast track him. I think you fast track Juan Diaz. This is a guy that you throw to the wolves. They even work in the PFL. Yeah, wasn't Sergio Pettis? Sergio Pettis did it.
It was Sergio Pettis and Fabian Edwards landed a head.
Nah, he landed the Leon, but. Dude, across every promotion, man. Like, I might have to start training it. If I get in that octagon, I'm using that spinning back elbow.
Was there like a press release or a memo sent out to every professional fighter in the world? Yo, new patch. We just buffed spinning elbows. You guys got it. Use it.
You get more incentivized bonuses if you get a spinning elbow finish. You get 100K if you get a spinning elbow finish. Double your paycheck. We know Dana White would never do that, but double your paycheck. It wouldn't surprise me. But that was one of the nastiest spinning elbow knockouts I've ever seen, let alone on Contender Series. I don't think that's ever happened before. Absolutely that was incredible from Juan Diaz. And at the end of this, we're actually going to go over Chris's power rankings for the whole season. Who we felt were the top fighters from this season, the ones to watch going forward. Juan Diaz is cracking that top 5.
Oh, yeah.
He's 100% cracking that top 5. Prates is so cool. He started this trend. I don't know if he started it,
cool guy,
but he definitely did something. And when he hit that spinning elbow knockout, he did something that changed the trajectory of the UFC. And it's a little bit sus.
Anyone that can chain smoke a pack of cigarettes and hit spinning elbows and go 5 rounds is a very cool guy, in my opinion.
Definitely him. The guy he knocked out actually looked like TKZ on Ozempic. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I went into this fight and I was like, this dude's getting set up because he was 9-5-1. Like he wasn't that like incredible. Obviously, he worked his way to a title shot, but like he was getting outclassed that whole fight. Like even before the knockout, he was getting
wobbled.
He was getting cooked. Like we knew sooner or later it was going to come. If it didn't happen in that second round, that finish was going to come in the third. So
agreed.
Either way it goes, Juan Diaz was going to make a statement tonight. Another guy, we're going to get into our main event here. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit that post notification button. Just like Tyler Fish is doing, hop in our comments, give us any questions. Streams are a good chance for us to answer your guys' questions, whether it be about MMA or life. We're very experienced at this whole life thing, so we want to help you out there too. I'm only 23, but you guys might have more life on me for all I know. If you have any questions, go ahead, go in the comments, drop them. We'll be happy to answer. But let's get right into our main event. Levi Rodriguez versus Freddie Vidal. Man, Levi Rodriguez looks solid out there. Vidal, on the other hand, yeah, that dude was clearly not UFC level. And after that goofy takedown attempt, probably one of the worst I've seen in a while. It's kind of satisfying just watching Rodriguez take over and just show the gap in skill. Bro literally showed levels. Now, Levi's still raw. Don't get me wrong. He's got a lot of developing to do before he's ready for the deep end. But the potential is obvious. Fun style and composure for a young fighter. If the UFC doesn't rush him and lets him grow at his own pace, this kid could really turn to something really interesting down the line. Like
I agree. He's big too. He's a big guy.
Nah, you're foul, bro. You're foul. Back to the gym class is crazy. Obviously, we know Freddie Vidal is a gym teacher, a PE coach. I do agree with the sentiment. I definitely do agree with the
And
sentiment.
I
He was
think
not
Dana White
ready
did
for
too. He was very upset that Freddie
that. He was
Vidal got
grilling.
another shot and kind of did that again. Obviously, I know your base is wrestling, and that's kind of what you want to do, but we've seen how that goes on Dana White Contender Series. You have your opportunity. You got to make the most of it. You go for broke. It's either kill or be killed out there, to be completely honest. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I think that Levi is definitely going to be a solid force, and I was very happy to see him and his defensive grappling. I mean, obviously Vidal shot a takedown, and Tyler said Vidal literally shot the slowest double leg takedown I've ever
That was
seen
one
in
of
my
the
life.
worst takedown attempts I think I've ever seen on Contender Series. That was horrible.
Yeah, I mean, it was almost just a let me get you up against the cage and kind of let's lay here for a minute. I think that Rodriguez did a great job of digging underhooks, defending it, and landing shots in the clinch. Very short uppercuts, hammer fists, and it really bothered Vidal. And then it got him to like almost like an over under, and then Vidal kind of Levi broke that into somewhat of a tie clinch, landed two knees flush, knocked over Vidal, and then it was wraps from there. So I was very, I wouldn't say very impressed with his performance. I was impressed with Levi Rodriguez. I would like to see him up against a little bit stiffer competition, but I think that he went out there and he did his job. So props to Levi Rodriguez Jr.
He literally bent over at the hip and waddled him to the like that. I don't know, man. I don't know. Freddie Vidal, even in the first fight, he was fighting an absolute trash can. And he still had to pull off the most miracle submission of all time to win that. Like, he was not winning this fight. I hammered Levi Rodriguez for a reason. Well, I didn't hammer it. I wasn't betting on this fight because Fliff won't give me odds. But I would have hammered Levi Rodriguez at minus 130. Like, this was very obvious. Freddie was not ready. Levi had at least some decent comp.
He was not ready.
He was not ready. But Levi at least had some comp in LFA. So, like, there was at least that to go off of. What was there to go off of for Freddie Vidal? Like, obviously, training in Long Island is good, but I don't think a camp alone is, like, enough to really make me invest into you. You know what I mean? Unless you're at Top Team. If you're at American Top Team, like, that's where I'll give an exception.
You got it, bro.
But Long Island, yeah.
Put some respect on Longo.
I was about to say, Freddie let y'all boys down, man. Like, I don't know. That's your boy.
A little bit. I mean, yo, shout out. Oh, I gotta remember I'm mirrored. Shout out Long Island, baby. The LI we rep. But yeah, I mean, bad performance from Freddie, very solid performance from Levi, and he deserved a contract, and Dana White agreed, and I'm siding with Dana on this one.
And Freddie Vidal's disaster class capped off a memorable season of Contender Series. Chris, let's pull up these power rankings. I'm really interested. I want to see who you have as your top 10 fighters from this season. And now keep a note, like, these are visual receipts. Like, these are all visual receipts.
Yep.
So we're going to see.
Don't, if anyone's watching or wants to comment after, share your opinions. You can grill me. You could say I'm stupid, or you could agree with me, which would be pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, the power rankings are kind of where I think these fighters are going to be heading and what they showed on Contender Series. So let's see. We're sharing it right now.
All right. Bang, bang.
Okay. We're starting off Chris's Dana White Contender Series Season 9 power rankings. And number one, obviously, you got to go with Jose Delano.
Yeah,
I mean,
nailed it.
That guy absolutely put on an amazing performance, and his opponent too. I'm gonna go back and check because I forgot the name of him. He was Argentinian. I do remember that.
Manuel Souza.
Manuel Exposito.
Or
Manuel
Exposito.
Yes.
Manuel Souza because it's literally right there on the screen.
Yeah, but Manuel Exposito was an absolute tank in that fight. He ate so many shots. And we talked about Jose Delano before. I think that this guy could be ready for ranked competition in the UFC off rip. I mean, his strikes, flawless. Power is there. Muay Thai, amazing. This guy is going to be quite something to watch in the UFC. And he's a seasoned vet, so I would like to see that. Shrikar, do you agree with the number one take?
No, I agree with Tyler Fish. I think it's Freddie Vidal.
Ooh, dude, that's a good one. I should have put him there.
I 1,000% agree with Tyler Fish here. I think Freddie's definitely earned it. I think he's going to go very, very far if he gets another shot on Contender Series. I sincerely hope he gets another shot. He's really good, man. I just don't
rage bait.
Got robbed, frankly. I think he got robbed. It was an illegal knee. I think Freddie Vidal was down. I think it was an early stoppage. So yeah, Freddie. Nah, come on, man. I've been high on Jose Delano the whole time. Literally from week 2 on, no one has looked better than this guy. And honestly, out of any guy I've seen on Contender Series this season, Delano is the one guy I looked at and I was like, this guy could hang with the entire top 5 at featherweight. The entire top 5, including the champion, Volk.
I agree.
I really think he can. And it may sound like a crazy hot take. I think he's just that good. I really think so. I think within maybe 2 years' time, he will be fighting for a title. Within 2 years. I'm expecting big things for Delano. Hopefully he stays active so my prediction can come true. But no issue there. Yes, Vidal destroys Ryan Spann. Superman, unless Superman Spann pulls off the ghillie. But
he's a silly gilly goose.
He is a silly gilly goose. But Freddie Vidal is a silly gilly buns. So unfortunately, we're never going to see that happen. I definitely agree with Delano at 1.
All right, Delano at 1. We move to number 2 from week 9 of Contender Series. I'm going with Magomed Zainikov. I think that John Pork, man, I was extremely impressed with his unorthodox striking and his combination of grappling and wrestling. I think that this guy is going to be a problem at lightweight. I really don't think that he has a flaw in his game. I really think he's a complete fighter. He can eat shots and just still march you down. His teep kick is nasty too. He rips that teep kick like no other. And I really think that he's good. I think that he deserves to be the number 2. I see Tyler saying Zainikov either has pillow hands or the guy he fought has an iron chin. I'm gonna opt for the latter. I'm gonna say iron chin. I think Zainikov was throwing perfect strikes, and his opponent, who was, let me check again. I know who he fought, but I'm gonna butcher the name. It was Lucas Kaldash.
Yep.
Lucas Kaldash. I mean, he had an iron chin. I really think that Zainikov, perfect mix of mixed martial arts, and he's going to be a problem in this lightweight division. Shrikar, do you agree with number 2?
I want to introduce you to my team. This is John Pork, 2-time Muay Thai world champion. Yeah, I definitely agree. Poor guy, man. Guy actually, you know what's funny? He actually knows who John Pork is. Like, that's what's making this so funny to me.
That is crazy.
All the memes.
I mean, it's well deserved.
No one's going to call him Chonko from now on. Everyone's going to call him John Pork.
Yep, he deserves to be John Pork, and John Pork got hands and grappling. So
he does have hands. The striking is gorgeous. I totally agree. I think this is 2. Again, it's just so creative and crisp at the same time. The way he mixes in his combos is really, really beautiful to watch. I literally said after the fight, I was like, okay, I could watch John Pork go every single week and not be bored. This guy will not put up a boring fight in the UFC. That is for sure. I'm very, very excited to see what he can do. I think he has a really high potential. But Jonko or John Pork.
John Pork. We're putting John Pork at 2.
I think John Pork is better than Usman or Magomedov. That might be crazy, but I don't rate Usman very much. Well, honestly, after watching that Paul Hughes fight,
I could agree with that.
I think Zainikov is better. I think if Usman ever did come into the UFC, I think he would get shown levels immediately. I think the fact that Paul Hughes, by the way, I want to see Paul Hughes in the UFC. If they were going to do that Ankalaev trade, I want to see Paul Hughes for Magomed Ankalaev. I think that would make more sense than Dakota Decheva. I know Dean Thomas was talking about the Decheva trade all the time, but dude, get Paul Hughes in the
Dakota
UFC.
Decheva.
I do too, but she's making a bag at PFL. Like, she is their star. I think the return on Ankalaev would be enough for the PFL to be like, all right, bet we can get Paul Hughes. or we can give away Paul Hughes and be fine, because at least we're getting a champ in Ankalaev who, you set up a fight with Corey Anderson, right? Like,
yep.
That is a fight that sells in PFL. No matter you love or hate Ankalaev, he wasn't selling in the UFC. He could sell in the PFL. So I definitely think if they were going to negotiate that trade, but that's besides the point. I definitely agree that John Pork is better than Usman. I think he is going to do a lot of damage in the UFC again. Very, very excited.
Yeah, 100%. All right, so we're in cahoots on 1 and 2. Yeah. Number 3, I'm going with Abdul Rahman Yakayev. Yakyaev. I think that he has probably the most potential out of the next couple guys, but we'll see. That was a little bit of I didn't really know where to put him. I think 3, or at least in the top 5, because
he's definitely top 5. I don't know about 3.
He's already getting a shot against Rafael Cerquera, and that is in on a fight night, November 22nd.
Qatar, I believe.
Qatar, yes. I think this guy is going to be good. I mean, we didn't get to see that much of him on Contender Series, but the way he dismantled his opponent, I think
I'm noticing a bit. I'm sorry for interrupting. I'm noticing a big omission from your top 10.
What?
Cesario Lejechuk.
I feel like if I was going to take someone out, you want me to be completely honest?
You don't think he's top 10?
Nah, if I was going to take someone out, I'd take out Susarkayev. That might be a hot take, but
the next Sean O'Malley? How could you?
Yeah, I don't know.
For those who don't know, we have an inside joke running with Susarkayev. Sam, who's our other co-host on here, you've seen him before. He called Baisangur Susarkayev the next Sean O'Malley after week 1. And I really don't know how that's aging.
I would say
we'll see how he does against Eric McConaughey before we go any further. But
yeah, we'll see. I mean, obviously you can't look forward after Contender Series to rank these guys because this is just straight up off Contender Series performances.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like that fight at what pay-per-view was it? 319, where Susarkayev fought. Who did he fight? He
fought literally some random
Eric Nolan.
Nolan,
he got dominated in that first round. Dominated. So I don't know. I don't think that his potential is absolutely through the roof. Obviously, I agree with Tyler saying he's not great on the feet. He does have that nasty teep kick. His grappling is good. Obviously, he's a Chechen. So I think that could take him far. But I mean, was not overwhelmingly impressed with him. Not as much as some.
I think the hype is definitely real around him. I wouldn't go as far as saying next Sean O'Malley or anything, but like, is his name being built?
I think he's riding Hamzat's coattails right now.
Is it the same thing? I mean, I wouldn't say it's the same thing with Yakyaev because Yakyaev is also Chechen, I believe.
No, he's he fights out of Turkey. He could be Chechen. He is Chechen. God. You're right.
So
he's Chechen, but he fights out of Turkey. Yes, he's Chechen, but fights out of Turkey. I don't know.
I mean, I'm not terribly mad at Yakyaev at 3. Low-key, I might go Juan Diaz.
We see. That's what I was kind of. That was a interesting flip for me because I have Michael Oliveira at 4. I was thinking about putting Juan Diaz above Abdul Rahman Yakyaev, but the reason I opted for Yakyaev.
Susarkayev is a middleweight.
Susarkayev is a middleweight. The reason I opted for Yakyaev is because I think that he has the all-around package as of right now. I mean, he's shown that he can knock people out. He's an amazing grappler as well. So that's why I leaned a little bit more towards that. But hey, we're in the war room, so all for the disagreement. And it was more of a last second pick. You could see up top where the time I made this, probably about 9.
I will say, like, I think you nailed your top 5. Besides, like, the order, you definitely nailed your top 5. Book him against Ateba Gautier. Let's see what happens. Ooh. Gautier is going to murder him.
Yeah, Gautier would.
Gautier is going to absolutely kill Susarkayev. Actually,
if he takes him down, That's anyone's fight. I just don't even think he's going to be able to get close.
That's low-key a closer fight than I would have thought.
Yeah. Good call, Tyler. That's a really good matchmake, honestly.
Yeah, exactly. It's a grappling test for Gotti. That's literally what I'm thinking about. Like, what if he gets that take? Bro, we saw Tristan Vines literally clinch up Ateba Gautier. Obviously, it didn't matter because it was Tristan Vines.
Yeah, he got killed.
If that's Susurkayev, someone who's a natural 185er, Tristan Vines was a welterweight. I don't know. Things could get dicey. Things could get very dicey, but that's the reason they're not going to do this fight so quickly. They want to slow cook Gautier. They want to see what he's got. Same thing with Susurkayev, I guess, to a degree. They're giving him Eric McConaughey and MSG. Like, he should blow by Eric McConaughey. Like, I don't see any resistance coming from him. But yeah, you nailed your top 5. Manuel Souza, I see at 6.
Yeah. Well, all right. So I'll go Oliveira. We just talked about Oliveira. Great fight IQ, raw power. I think that this guy's going to be a problem in the UFC. Juan Diaz, I would not be mad about flipping him and Yakiev. Obviously, he just landed the best knockout in Contender Series history. So I think that he could be in the top 3. But the reason I did that is because I feel like we've seen a little bit more of grappling from Yakiev, but Juan Diaz also was out of the PI Institute in Mexico City. Brandon Moreno was in his corner tonight. He has a great camp behind him. So the future is very bright for him. I was very confident in this top 5. And obviously I think the first 2 are locked in. And like Shrikar said, I think we could rework 3 through 5. Number 6.
Labosno Yanni could be higher too, low key.
I was going to put him over Susurkayev, but I feel like with everything that happened in the hype around Susurkayev, I feel like I had to put him.
Also, Marcio Barbosa could be top 10.
He could. It was either him or Ramiro Jimenez, and I opted for Jimenez.
I'm like going through. I'm looking at who won each week. Like, oh my god, there's so much talent.
I know dude. This was actually very hard to make. I was picking and choosing, and I was like, oh.
Le'Veon Douglas could be higher than 10. Like realistically, Etcher Sosa could be top 10. I really liked what I saw from Etcher Sosa. Yeah, geez, man.
So I opted for Manuel Sosa at 6 because he did get taken down quite a bit in that fight. However, I just think the raw talent and athleticism carries him over the top, and the raw power. He pulled that fight out of the fire. And I think that was a good awakening for him. That's what I'll call it. So I think that he has a very bright future. So I opted for him at 6. Susurkayev, we just talked a little bit about, put him at 7. Mm-hmm. I honestly would flip him and Jean-Paul Labosniani.
Yeah, Labosniani should be above Susurkayev, I think.
All right, I'll opt for that. However, I feel like Susurkayev, he's going to show us a little more in these next couple of fights. And in the beginning, he kind of saved that week 1. So
he did. Like, we're going off future prospects, right? Like,
you're right.
Also, 2 names I think could have been on here. Louis Jordan is another one. That guy put on a clinic, like literally had a fluffy.
I agree.
Mission. He could be on here. And then who else was I thinking of? I was thinking of someone else. I think it was from last week. Imanol Rodriguez.
Imanol could be on there.
If you wanted to make honorable mentions, I think all those names we just threw out.
No, I agree.
Made it. But overall, man, that just goes to show how talented the season was. Like it was a very stacked season. It also goes to show how good Jose Delano is. Like we were so high on this guy.
Oh yeah, Jose Delano is number 1 locked in.
Talent that came and followed, and this guy is still at number 1. Like that's how you do it, man. That's how you do it. I agree. But I think you did a great job.
Reworking. What'd you say?
No, I thought you did a great job with the power rankings, though.
Oh, thank you. Obviously, power rankings are made for the debate, so I'm glad that you put your input in. And now rethinking it, I would bump Manuel Souza down, potentially even off the list. Mm-hmm. But like I said, honestly, like want to take Sisarkayev off this list, but I feel like I can't. Like I feel like I'd be
You could keep
wrong.
him in the top 10.
Yeah, I feel like I'd be wrong. I was very impressed with Labaznoyani. He could jump Sisarkayev in this. He could be 7 or even 6. Souza could be 8. Actually, Souza was kind of a bad placement. We could put Souza at 10.
Yeah, Souza could be lower.
I'll put Souza at 10. We'll leave Ramiro Jimenez at 9. I'd put Le'Veon Douglas at 8. Sisarkayev at 7 and John Paul Labazniani at 6.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that.
So
I think that makes
yeah, I would say let me rework this right now. We'll have a fresh.
While you do that,
rankings. Yeah,
I wanted to bring up something. Well, first of all, if you're still in the stream with us, thank you. Smash that like button, subscribe, turn those post notifications on. We are coming hot with the content. Obviously, our UFC Vancouver predictions are coming real soon, real soon. We're going to get it out to you in the next couple of days. We have Tyler Fish in the comments going crazy. Thank you, man.
Sir. Thank you, my man.
Keep commenting, man. We're going to answer every question we can while we're still live, whether it be about MMA or life. If Sisarkayev takes a Khamzat approach and only grapples, he can have success. I just think he's delusional about his striking skill and will get himself knocked out like Islam did. That could happen. That could definitely happen. But I also think what happened to Islam was kind of just like, kind of fluky. Now, obviously, again, that could happen with Sisarkayev, but I don't think it was anything about their approaches. You know what I mean? Like, I think it had more so to do with like Islam literally just got caught. And I think he would have came back up. Like they low-key stopped that fight a little bit early. I think Islam would have came back up and would have been fine. But yeah, I don't think you're wrong necessarily. Like that's definitely a very real possibility for Sisarkayev. It all depends on the matchup, what he gets next, because that's going to be the tell-all. Against Eric McConaughey, he's going to make quick work. He is going to blow past him. But after that, it's going to get a little tougher. So let's see what he does in 2026. I think that's when we're going to get the complete read on how good Bisinger Sisarkayev is. But just off eye test, what he's done in the regionals, it's hard to not have him in your top 10 from this season. Just besides like the whole him being Joe Pyfer in week 1 and everything, like he's good. Like he's really, really good. And the fact that he got that body kick TKO, like that is a very, very impressive way to finish a guy. Like pause.
It's a sniper shot.
It is literally a sniper shot.
All right, yo, Shrikar, share this updated power.
All right, here's the update. So we have Delano 1, Zainukov 2, Yakiaev 3, Oliver 4, Diaz 5. All right. JPL at 6, Sisarkayev 7, Le'Veon, Jimenez, Souza. Wait, so who got pushed out?
No one got pushed out. I just reworked where everyone was.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not mad at that. Me personally, I would have Cesario Lejechuk and Louis Jourdan maybe in that top 10. But I think they work as honorable mentions too. I'm not mad at that. Jimenez and Souza are the only ones where I'm like, could they be in that top 10? But I think your top 8 on is phenomenal. Obviously, I missed Contender Series when Le'Veon Douglas was fighting, but I watched the knockout. It was absolutely insane. Cam T, poor guy. Islam said it himself. He was too confident and tried to be super offensive. That's why he takes a very defensive approach in striking now. Also, he ignored Khabib's dad telling him to grapple. Yeah, and this is exactly why he's going to lose to JDM. I'm not going to lie. All the ammo is there for us. Obviously, our picks for UFC 322 will come closer to the day. I'll do more film study. I'll do more tape study. I owe it to you guys that watch. I do feel like JDM is going to beat Islam, though. That's my lean right now. And it's because of what Tyler Fish is saying. Like, Islam, when he's more defensive in the striking, that's not going to work against JDM. It's just not. Because JDM can walk you down. Even when Bilal was being aggressive in a way where, like, he posed no threat on the feet to JDM, so JDM was just picking him apart with ease. But if Jack goes up against Islam, obviously Islam can definitely do things with his kicks. I think he does have very strong kicks, and his Muay Thai is really good. Obviously, he's working with the number 2 guy on our list, John Burke, 2-time Muay Thai world champion. But
dog,
I do think between the size difference and literally how the striking matchup would play out, the fact that JDM is so good in the scrambles, the fact that JDM can literally get up in an instant from even Bilal, like it goes to show, like how is that going to fare against an Islam that's moving up from 155? I got Makhachev by sub because of lighter man skill. I actually think Islam will give JDM problems in striking. Lighter man skill is definitely an interesting argument in any case. And I don't vehemently deny it because I do think it applies in certain situations. I think it could apply here too. But I just think that lighter man skill doesn't work when you're primarily a wrestler, because you're trying to be more physical and you're trying to engage in more clinches. And in those clinch situations, you're more prone to losing if you're the smaller guy. So if it was on the feet, maybe that does help Islam a little bit, that he has lighter man skill and he'll be probably a little bit more quick. And from what we're seeing on social media too, it looks like Islam's bulk is going really well.
Yeah, he's like 190, 190
like
something
the dude
right
does
now.
look big. But until he's in the cage, we're not going to know for sure. Until we see some face-offs at the very least, we're not going to know how these two size up against each other. I'm expecting JDM to be the bigger guy, obviously. But they're both going to come in probably around the same weight. Maybe JDM a little bit bigger. I think JDM will crack 200. I think Islam will be hovering around like 185, 190. So it could be like a 10-pound difference there. But until we get closer to the event, truly, we don't know. But
my quick
thought him well, then who knows?
Yeah, my quick thought is Islam has a tendency to slightly get tagged, slightly get pieced up a little bit, and I think JDM's the best striker that he's faced.
We saw it in the Poirier fight too. He was getting tagged by an out-of-time Dustin Poirier.
I very much agree. And I think that JDM, that power is crazy. You can't stand in front of it for that long. Look what he did to Bilal's face. He wrecked his face. And Bilal is an iron chin. So we'll see, man. I think it's gonna be an amazing fight, and that's why I'm trying to go to it, which I most likely
he's obviously, we mentioned Chris is in New York. He's gonna try and go out to that card. Well, no, because we see light heavyweights move up and destroy heavyweights like Almeida. Khamzat is a good example. Things like that. Welterweights have given Khamzat his hardest fights, not middleweight. I think those are two good examples. Poirier is not faster than JDM. Poirier is not faster than at both, because you got to think at the age that these guys were fighting. This is a JDM that's pretty much like much younger, much fresher, hasn't had as many wars. And Islam outstruck Poirier. Yeah, but Dustin landed the bigger shots. And I think that's going to matter a little bit more here. But it is a close fight. Like, I'll give you that. Like, I think you're making very valid points, Tyler. Like, I don't necessarily disagree with what you're saying. Especially on your point about lighter man skill. Almeida and Khamzat are definitely good examples. I think the jump from 170 to 185, because Khamzat was a huge welterweight. Like, to the point where we didn't really know how he was making 170.
Yeah, he missed weight terribly.
Islam was fighting at 155, and he was probably hovering around like 180. I don't know. We got to see. These top-level lightweight strikers are all faster than welterweight strikers. I think faster is one thing, but the precision with which JDM lands at, I think, is a whole different ballgame.
I agree. I think JDM is a top 3 boxer in the UFC.
Like, I'll give Poirier's credit. Like, he definitely looked fast in that fight. Islam was definitely hanging with him. But if that same sort of stand-up scenario happens in this JDM fight, I don't think Islam is going to have the same success. I really don't. Because JDM is going to land at a much higher clip. And JDM is also
going to be a lot more powerful.
A lot more powerful and a lot more precise shots. I think that would probably be the difference. But it'll be an interesting one. It'll be an interesting one for sure. Obviously, when we get to UFC 322, we're going to get into it a little bit more. But a big fight was just announced for UFC 323 that I guess we can go over here. Marvin Vettori and Bruno Ferreira has just been confirmed. The unstoppable force against the immovable object that is Marvin the Italian stallion, Vettori.
Dog. I love Marvin Vettori. He's hilarious.
100%.
Actually, shouldn't say that. Some of his tweets have been really, really bad. I take that back.
Well, what UFC's fighters' tweets aren't? You know what I'm saying? Like,
no. They've been really bad.
I know, bruh, but it's everyone. It's also head damage, man. CTEs.
Yeah, I mean he's literally walking CTE. We're being quite honest.
Like, take Topuria and Max as an example. Lightweights cannot keep up with them. Topuria literally threw 2 hooks before Charles even got a jab off. He was trying to throw a jab and couldn't even get it off. But Charles, I don't think Charles is that good of a striker to begin with. He kind of just relies on like forward pressure, walking you down, and he's literally walking in that fight. He's literally walking into a trap that Ilya set up for him.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like, I think that's what makes it a little bit different.
I think it's a double-edged sword because, like, you could also look at Tom Aspinall, who is faster than some welterweights, and that dude is 265 pounds. So,
Tyler, I got a question for you. Do you think Alex Pereira beats Tom Aspinall? I'd love to know who you think wins and why. Because I think that is the best, like, lighter man skill debate we can have. Because I think Aspinall personally bulldozes Pereira. Like,
smokes him.
Okay, Max schooled Gaethje. Yeah, that's another valid example.
That is true. But
actually is a very valid example.
I agree. I just think that Max's style of fight is the antithesis of like how Gaethje wants to fight. I think Max is a lot more precise and he's not looking for the kill shot every time. And Gaethje is a lot more wild looking for the kill shot every time. So I think it was a little bit easier for Max. And don't get me wrong, he definitely looked faster than him. He looked amazing in that fight. But I don't know. I think Islam is a great striker, but I think JDM is the perfect person to combat that in welterweight.
Yes, I think Pereira catches Aspinall because Aspinall runs around with his chin up in the air. Pereira will catch him with the left hook. I think Aspinall will go straight for the wrestling.
Yeah, he said in an interview that if they fought, he would just straight up rugby tackle him in the first 10 seconds, and then I mean it'd be over after that. But
I think that is my biggest concern with Aspinall. He definitely leaves his chin up in the air, but I don't think he's going to let Pereira test it. And even in the stand-up, I think with how fluid he moves, like his movement is really good. I think he's literally just going to take him down and submit him. Like, I literally think that's what's going to happen.
You want me to be honest? I literally think it would just be John Jones versus Cyril Gane.
Yeah. Yeah, I literally think it'll be just like rewatching that fight.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day,
I think that's how Aspinall Gane is going to go too. If I'm giving a little preview of the prediction episode, but
yeah, that's probably what's going to happen. We have UFC 321 next week, so stay tuned for that as well. But everyone says just take Pereira down. But that's exactly what I was going to get into. Ankalaev says he's going to go for takedowns, and everyone thinks he's like a great grappler and a great wrestler. He doesn't actually implement that in his fights. He never does. Never. Like the one time, like I remember him like significantly, like he went on the feet with Johnny Walker. For most of the fight, he was on the feet with Jan Blachowicz.
He's a striker.
He was on the feet with Rakic. He was on the feet with Pereira in the first fight. Even when he was trying to take Pereira down, it didn't really seem like he was trying to take Pereira. Like he was literally just kind of holding him against the cage. I think Aspinall is a guy that will genuinely try and take him down. Like genuinely make the full effort to take Pereira down.
He has amazing fight IQ. And I mean, that if you want to win without any chance of losing, you take him down. And he can. I mean, Aspinall is the most complete package. That I feel like it's as seamless as that. But I mean, Pereira obviously can catch him. I just think that Aspinall is a way better grappler than Ankalaev is, especially in the way that he shoots. Like Ankalaev was shooting to run him up against the cage and then run a single leg, and that's not going to work against Pereira. I think if you just straight up, get Pereira to maybe throw a hook, duck under it, and then shoot a double, it's over.
Look at Volk versus Islam 1. No lightweight could do shit on the ground with Islam, but Volk, the featherweight, was competitive. and negated Islam's offensive grappling. I mean, Oliveira didn't do shit to Islam on the ground. I do agree Volk put up a good fight. Oliveira got knocked down and then submit. It was literally a club and sub. There's not really much Oliveira could do in that scenario because Islam literally just jumped straight on it, which is good on Islam's part for sure. But I don't think Charles really got the chance to test the grappling because the opportunity was really just never there. And again, Oliveira likes to stand. This goes for any fight, but Oliveira loves to start all his fights on the feet. Like, he literally just goes for it.
I don't know why, bro. He scares me when he does that.
And then he needs to get knocked down to initiate the grappling. I think he did a much better job of that against Gamrot. I think he actually implemented a great game plan and fight IQ against Mateusz Gamrot.
Yep.
But usually in his fights, before that, Islam beat Oliveira up on the ground, kind of on the ground.
No, I'll give you that because Oliveira did get knocked down, and then Islam went straight to the ground to, like, that was the point where no one wanted to hit the floor with Charles Oliveira, and Islam took the challenge and succeeded fairly well. I just think that it's such a different ball game with JDM. I mean, I don't think you can really compare Oliveira or Volk even to JDM. I mean, the guy's takedown defense is amazing. I'm not saying that Islam's a better or a worse wrestler than Bilal, but I consider Bilal to be a pretty damn good wrestler. And JDM was stuffing those takedowns with ease. However, Bilal was shooting at inopportune times, and he kind of waited to get tagged before he decided to shoot, which telegraphs all of his shots to JDM. But I don't know, man. I just think JDM is going to be able to find that shot on the feet. And look, it was a long time ago. Don't get me wrong. But Islam has been absolutely knocked out cold before. Flat on his back. By someone who is not even close to the UFC. So, obviously you learned from that.
I don't know if he was out cold in that fight.
It was pretty bad. That was a pretty bad knockout.
Do you think that Leon is one of the worst champs ever?
Yeah. He put up a duck against duck against Colby, and he just had Usman's number after that one fight.
I don't know that because the quality of the wins, Colby aside, beating Kamaru twice.
Like, worst champion in terms of title defenses or worst champion to ever hold the belt? Because worst champion to ever hold the belt, Jamal Hill. There is no question about that.
Bilal has no threat anywhere, but Islam is 100 times more dangerous than Bilal.
I wouldn't say Bilal has no
100 times more dangerous, no. Because they both present kind of the same threats in terms, like, obviously Islam's wrestling is better. That goes without saying.
Dude, but Bilal has Canelo hands.
Canelo hands, baby. Canelo hands.
Sorry, that was sarcasm, Tyler.
Hey, props to him. He actually swore by it and actually decided to strike with JDM. Hey, props to him. I wouldn't say he's 100 times more dangerous. He is definitely more dangerous, but when it comes to the wrestling, so if Bilal beat Leon by competitive decision and JDM beat Bilal by competitive decision, then JDM is not a god level fighter.
I'm not saying he's a god level fighter, but that
also Bilal and Leon was not competitive.
Bilal and Leon wasn't competitive, and I don't even think JDM versus Bilal was like that competitive. I think JDM had that the whole way. Like, he was whooping him up and down the block.
Yeah, like it wasn't even close. And JDM, we're not saying JDM's a god level fighter. We just think the matchup could be a little bit of stylistic trouble.
I think it's gonna be the toughest test for Islam, if I'm being completely honest.
Where is Bilal dangerous? Please tell me with the wrestling.
Yeah, wrestling, grappling.
That's the most dangerous. That's why JDM was. As soon as the fight kept going and Bilal was still throwing hands with him, like, JDM probably was thinking, like, it is great. Like, it is fucking awesome. Like, I literally just get to strike with you the whole time. Like, it's
exactly. Great. And he showed his striking prowess. He showed his pretty damn good takedown defense. So I think JDM's the whole package. And he's big. Like, that's a big guy in there. He is not a feather to push over. Like, he's a little bit of a boulder.
But he's going to be hard to wrestle in the first place, and even when you get him down, his scrambles are so good that he can get up from an Islam takedown. Like, he can. Dustin Poirier was doing it. Like, I feel like JDM can. And if he consistently does that over 5 rounds, I see no reason why he can't win this fight. Like, I really can't. Like, greatest pot of all time. Thanks, Goop. Appreciate you. Hey, man, talk to me about the Browns, Goop. We think Stefanski's getting fired, my brother?
Ooh.
Let me know something.
Yeah,
but there's no threat of being finished. I mean, yeah, you're in danger of losing a round, but you can just scramble however you want because he's not going to sub you. There's nothing to worry about. Yeah, but at the same time, Bilal did finish Sean Brady. So if we're looking at
still
it
mad
that
about
way,
that, by the way. Still mad about that.
No, I'm playing with you, Tyler. I completely agree. Like, Bilal's big, but that is still dangerous in the sense that he could literally just hold you down like the whole time. Bilal can literally, and he has great cardio. He can go all 5 rounds executing the same game plan. I think that's the biggest danger with Bilal. Poirier has lightweight skill. JDM has welterweight skill.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm not sure what to make of that.
Yeah, I've never loved and hated someone more than Kevin Stefanski. I kind of feel that way about Kyle Shanahan. I'm not gonna lie. It's pretty valid.
Yo, shout out Brian Schottenheimer.
Dude, I told you Shotty was a good hire, bro. He bro. He was a good hire.
He didn't call a great game on Sunday, though.
Continuity is good. Yeah. Hey, Carolina was a free binky. Carolina was definitely a free binky for your boy.
Don't remind me.
All right, one last thing here. Okay, well, hold on. If JDM scrambles and Islam sees the opening, he's wrapping up. I think JDM is good enough to get out of those positions. Lightweights are more skilled than welterweights.
That's so objective.
You mean subjective?
Subjective. Sorry, it's late for me. Subjective.
Yeah, I don't know how we can compare that. Like, lightweight has had better fighters over the years, but like, I don't see how that has any correlation with JDM and Islam. Like, just going on the history of.
I'm kind of confused about that.
I heard from an unidentified source that Alex Pereira had a certain type of STD prior to the fight. Surprised no one touched on this, but do y'all think it impacted him in any way? Clearly not.
Yeah, clearly not.
The brother is fine, and the brother has the belt, so he's okay.
The brother knocked out the Magomed.
If y'all okay, I guess we'll get into a little story time here. So basically, Chris and Sam.
Let's not talk about this.
No. I think this is good for the stream to hear.
No.
Chris and Sam call me last night and tell me Alex Pereira has, as Goop mentioned, a certain type of STD prior to the fight. Now, obviously, I didn't believe it. I was like, where are you getting this from? Like, what's happening is that. And then Chris asked me, should I post this on our Twitter?
We would have blown up, bro.
I said, absolutely not. No way.
We would have blown up.
Sam threatened to quit the podcast if the tweet went up. We didn't post it, obviously, because like the source was completely bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think it was crazy. But this was literally the night before UFC 320, so I thought it was a funny story. I'll just share that with y'all.
And I have been aired out.
The war room, as we know it, could have been over if that tweet went up. we would not be on stream right now if that tweet went up. But it was a good time, man. It was a good time. I got that call super late last night.
I thought it was hilarious.
I was like, and Chris like knew it deep down too. He's like, there's no way this is true.
Oh yeah, no, I was trying to speak it into existence, and then obviously that would have been much cooler if that was
it definitely made Pereira's win that much sweeter. Because imagine, like, the lighter the weight class, the more skilled the fighters. That's why heavyweights are shit and flyweights are doing the most acrobatic and complex techniques and skill shit. There are skill gaps.
I just don't think that's true at all, to be completely honest.
Between division, no, but like there's very skilled heavyweights and there's very skilled flyweights. There's very bad heavyweights and there's very bad flyweights. Like, I just don't think that it's a matter of like who's more skilled. Like, are we gonna say flyweights are more skilled than lightweights in this? Like, I don't know. Chris MP needs you.
Oh,
Chris,
dude,
I'm trying to run him back.
Is MP calling me right now? Hello?
We'll see, Tyler. No, I think you made up
MP?
a...
Dude, MP's calling.
Get off my stream, man. Get off my stream. Trying to call your boy. Get off my stream. No, Tyler, we'll definitely see. I think it's going to be an interesting fight. You made a lot of great arguments. I can't wait, man. UFC 322, that breakdown is going to be dope. All right, he's complaining. I'm bringing him back.
No, all right. You haven't seen any of the TikToks. So all the 2K TikToks for 2K26, it's a bunch of people just saying MP needs me because MP is my player. So they're like, oh,
I'm unk.
They're like, oh, I'm sitting at work, but I know deep down at home that MP needs me. No, dude, they're so funny. They're so funny.
You're hopping on 2K after this, bro. You have
yeah, I'm about to run some rec, get that nice little double VC crew bonus and that rep. But yeah, no,
I watch some Vancouver film study after this, man.
Oh yeah. All right. The worst flyweight is 10 times more skilled than the worst heavyweight, and Pantoja is much more skilled than. Dude, saying Pantoja is much more skilled than Tom is like one of the biggest stretches I've ever heard.
Yeah, I'm not sure I agree with that. I think it's closer than you think. I'm a big Pantoja fan. Like, he is one of my favorites on the UFC roster. But more skilled than what Tom is doing at heavyweight, I don't know.
I'll agree. The higher the weight classes get, the less skilled the fighters are. But I mean, I don't think that I like I said before, I think it's just very subjective to like the topic that we're talking about. If you took Pantoja, he kept his current skill set and made him 265 and putting my house on Pantoja. Yeah, but you can't do that because Pantoja wouldn't be moving like that with that cardio at 265. It's all subjective. Like that's like the flyweights are moving like that and doing acrobatic stuff like that because their physical skill set and attributes allow them to do that. Obviously the higher the weight class, the more you have to compensate for, and the more different your game plan is. I just think that that's a little bit of a stretch, in my opinion. So
I think okay, skill for skill, Ciryl Gane or Brandon Royval. Taking Ciryl Gane. Like I genuinely think like Ciryl Gane is a more skilled athlete than Brandon Royval. They're both former number one contenders. Ciryl Gane, number one contender right now. Is Ciryl Gane more skilled than a Joshua Van? I think it's a little bit closer. Yeah. But just off the basis of skill, it might be Ciryl Gane.
I'm still taking probably Ciryl Gane.
It might be. Like, I feel like that's why it's weird to make like comparisons like that, because it's one-offs. Like, I feel like you can make those kind of comparisons. Like, I get you want to do a champ for champ, but that doesn't equate to the entire division and how we would approach these one-on-one matchups, which might be a good idea going forward. Actually, Tyler, you brought up a great stream idea. Maybe we do fantasy matchups across divisions and we debate how that would play out. I think that could be interesting.
I'm saying almost every time someone moves up a division, they have success. There's only a few exceptions. Yeah, but a lot of the time, which way are you talking about? Because a lot of the time people move up, it's because they physically have to and they just can't cut to that weight anymore. Islam is just straight up doing this because he wants to prove a point and say, I am double champ.
Also, when we saw Izzy move up to light heavyweight, it did not go well. I think that's the prime example.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, exactly. That is true too. He got dominated because Jan Blachowicz was just straight up bigger than him.
If you put Royval against Tuivasa and these other guys, Gane is fighting Royval would look like the greatest technical wizard of all time.
But he's not fighting the same as he does at lightweight. I think,
and also we're talking skill for skill too. Like, I think Royval is a literal brawler in terms of technical excellency. I would take Ciryl Gane.
Yeah,
100%.
Ciryl Gane is an amazing kickboxer.
I'll give you Royval on the basis of like ground game and like scrambles and that sort of stuff. But again, it's very hard to equate it when we're trying to equalize weight classes and just go fighter for fighter. I mean, like, I think it's a little bit more difficult. Like, I don't think it would be a blowout for Gane, but I would take Ciryl Gane skill for skill. And I would also take Aspinall skill for skill over Pantoja. If we neutralize the weight classes, put that to the side, I think that's who I would take.
All right, Shrikar, let's move on for probably like 5 minutes about the UFC streetcar. You explained it about the
Yeah.
cards
So
potentially
I
being
was actually
increased.
scrolling through Instagram today, and I actually saw someone talk about this. I'm forgetting who it was, but he was basically talking about the potential for 6-fight, 7-fight main cards in 2026. Now, I think there are arguments for both sides. By the way, we're less than 3 months away from pay-per-view being gone. UFC is going to Paramount. This is a new era for the UFC. So the entire pay structure for the UFC is going to be different. So that means the way events are built and the way events are paced, it could be different. So the question is, will the UFC still stick with the classic 5-fight main card for its numbered events? Now, if you're arguing for it, obviously 5 fights is pretty much the sweet spot. Like, it is long enough to feel like a full event, and it's consistent with what fans have come to expect. And the runtime roughly lines up with other big sporting events, and it's familiar to fans. It's big for the fan engagement. And that consistency could help as they, go to Paramount. But on the flip side, when we think about profit, pay-per-view model is out the window, right? You're going to go on CBS. So you're not selling fights directly to fans anymore. So now the biggest focus for the promotion is maximizing the ad revenue, getting as much ad slots in as they can, because that's how they're going to make their money if you're on broadcast television. So CBS is going to, they're going to start treating UFC pay-per-views, or numbered events, I should say, same way they would do, like, for example, an NFL playoff game, something like that sort of stature. Massive broadcasts that will bring in high revenue. So if they go, or I should say, the UFC's job is now being, create as many valuable ad slots as you can. So more fights would mean more commercial breaks. That is more total ad inventory to sell. And because the state of MMA is not really allowing for ad breaks between like rounds, the best time for commercials is in between fights. So you could either drag out how much downtime there is between fights, just like boxing is doing, which isn't really that cool, or, which is more likely, you add more fights to the main broadcast to pack in more ad breaks naturally. And if they go that route, especially early on, I think the upside for Paramount is huge. It's absolutely huge, because every extra fight means more ad space that you're selling, and higher viewership numbers makes those slots even more valuable. The numbers will literally just go crazy. So I don't know. For me personally, I could definitely see a world in which we get 6 or 7 fight main cards in 2026 and going forward into the future. Chris, I didn't know your thoughts on this whole debate. It's just something I saw on Instagram. I thought it was an interesting topic.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be mad at it. I think it makes sense from the business model perspective of it. But I do think that is the way the UFC will go. I actually think they are going to introduce 6 fights to a main card. They're going to start making numbered events like fight nights, essentially.
Yeah, I think that could be really interesting. And first of all, I just want to say, yo, Tyler, if you're still watching, sorry for cutting you off, brother. We will definitely do a stream on that, because you brought up an amazing point and like topic of discussion that we could really dive into. So yeah, no, I really think that I really need to think on that, because going off the top,
Tyler had very, very valid points.
Yeah, I think that you really brought up an amazing point, and we should really dive more into that. And we could even dive into it when Sam is here too, because I'm sure he would love to get in on that. But yeah, no, I think that going back to what you said, Trikar, I think that would be interesting. I think that there's like a positive and a negative to that. Obviously, like you mentioned, the increased ad space leads to an increase in revenue, increase in viewership. Obviously, sometimes people watch cards and events like this because their favorite fighter is fighting. So if you could pack more fan favorites into one card, obviously you're going to have an increase in ratings. And I think that the UFC is always looking to do that. That's why they stack all these cards up to the absolute brim that they can. But from the fighter's side, and kind of just the magnitude of, all right, I don't want to say a legacy, but I guess like a resume. I feel like it's kind of disservice to some fighters because when you make it to the main card of a pay-per-view, there is a certain stature and uniqueness and like specialness of being one of 10 fighters to make it on a numbered event main card. So I feel like if they add more fights, like 6 or 7,
Six,
sorry, my
seven.
brain is cooked. But yeah, if you add more fights, preferably 6, if anything, I think 7 is way too much. But I think that it would kind of take away the essence and uniqueness of being able to be on a main card. However, the UFC doesn't adhere to the fighters as much as maybe I think they should, maybe as much as you think they should, and maybe even they think they
here's
should.
the thing with that point, Chris. Sorry. Here's the thing with that
Yeah,
point.
you're good.
You mentioned the essence of the main card. I think that only applies for pay-per-view because people are paying to watch you and you're going to get a little bit of that cut, right? When it's on streaming, everyone is going to be watching, or more people are going to be watching the whole way through, right?
Okay.
So even if you do have a 7-fight main card, even if you're on the prelims, no matter where you are on the card, there will be eyes on you. So I think there is leeway for the UFC to be like, okay, we can extend a main card because people are going to watch it anyway. With pay-per-view, it's a little different. That's why they had to restrict it to 5, because you had to sell people on specific fights. You had to sell people on buying a specific pay-per-view, which is why if you had a main card placement on a pay-per-view card, it meant a whole lot more. But with streaming, I think that's going to change a little bit.
Yeah, no, you know what? You're right. I didn't think about it in that sense because, yeah, when you make it 5 fights, obviously you can only pitch a certain amount of fights. So you really want to stack that up because you want to make it worth it to the customer and the viewers of, hey, look, you're spending, what is it, $70, $80? You're spending your money wisely because you're going to get to watch 5 absolute bangers.
Right.
Right. So with streaming now, it's going to be what, $11.99 a month, maybe even a little bit more. I'm not sure what the price is going to be. So all right, Tyler says UFC 400 should have 4 title fights and 3 more fights. Should be a 7-fight main card, but for a regular, even I think 7 is too much. Even 6 is a lot, but I think 5 is perfect. I think 5 is perfect too. If they put 7, yeah, no, I feel like 7 is a lot. 7's a stretch because you'll have 7 fights on the prelims and then 7 fights on the main card. I feel like if you do 7 fights on a main card, even a pay-per-view, yeah, there's definitely going to be a lot more room for people to lose their for their attention spans to be lost and I guess shortened. But like 6, I mean, I usually sit through it. Like I could sit perfectly fine through it.
Fight nights are typically 6.
Yeah, like a 6-fight UFC fight night is perfect in my opinion. And even tonight, I didn't even realize there were 6 fights tonight. And obviously you're gonna have some fights that might end in the first round. The second round might not go to decision, could go to decision, and the UFC is still gonna stick to that. Okay, this fight goes to decision, short post-fight octagon interview, and we're going right into the next promo. And that's usually how they do it. But
no, I do agree on UFC 400 though. Like that has to be the biggest. Pull out the 7 fights. Like,
yeah, I agree.
Again, yes, you should have 4 title fights minimum. If you had 3 for 300, 4 for 400 makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and 300 was basically that type of card. It's just they didn't move some of those fights up to the main card.
Yeah, there's no reason for Bo Nickel to be on the main. Like Yuri and Rocket should have been on the main card.
That was ridiculous.
They could have extended that main card. Like they could have put. I mean, that's one. If they really wanted to put Bo Nickel on a main card, put Yuri up there with him. But again, they weren't going to do that just because of pay structure and everything and how that works.
Right. But, it is a good point though. I would love to hear Sam's thoughts on this because it does bring up an interesting point, and I would love to see how they're going to do ads during the streaming thing because, especially on these main cards, I mean, they don't have time for ads. Sometimes they kill time.
Between fights, they'll have a lot of time for ads.
Yeah, well, I mean, yes and no. I feel like it'd be very short ad breaks because on the main card, they usually just jump straight into the next fight. Like
I would rather have less fights than have to watch Macy bad to the bone Chasson. Or some shit on a main card between two good fights. Like, if about that on a main card, I would be fine watching it on a prelim, but on a main card. Yes. Again, for fan engagement purposes, I think it would be better to stick with the 5. If they want,
I feel like it's just more captivating that you're watching 5-6 fights instead of maybe 6.
Yeah,
like
5 is
nah.
the sweet spot. Like that is exactly like the perfect amount of fights to keep someone captivated all the way through.
Right.
I just think with streaming it might be a little bit different.
It definitely could change. You're very right. Like I'm not disagreeing with you.
I do agree. 7 is complete overkill. I think
7
would be
is.
way too
I'm
much.
not gonna lie. I don't even know if I love UFC, and I could see myself getting distracted from outside sources watching all that, because there's bound to be one fight that isn't great.
Yeah, no, 100%. Even on a 5-fight main card, there's usually that one fight that's just
usually one fight that's like, oh, just end, please.
Yeah. Especially, I mean, yeah, I do think that. I think 6 we can barely get the UFC to put 5 good fights on a main card. There's no chance there would be 7 good fights, even 6. I do think, assuming they stick with the 5-fight main card 2026, card quality is going to be resolved. Card quality is going to get a lot better.
Oh, dude, it's going to be insane. They're going to pick up right where they left off.
That the UFC is going to put on in 2026 are going to be absolute bangers. Starting with 324 and moving down the line, it's going to be great. Honestly, while I'm at it, I'm going to do like a little like mock-up for what I think UFC 324 could look like. I hope it's in LA. Personally, I want them to run back into a dome. But I do think, because you're not trying to, like, the whole thing with pay-per-view was like you spot like a fighter you like and be like, okay, I'll pay $80 to see this fight. With streaming, now it's about, okay, I have to keep people engaged the entire time. And that's going to force yourself to make better cards. So I think that's what's going to end up happening, is we're going to see entire main cards with, you could see a title eliminator potentially opening up a main card of a pay-per-view or a numbered event. Also, where is Shavkat and what is Usman doing? Dude, I don't know.
Shavkat is hurt.
That's what. Okay, I think the UFC matchmaking has been terrible for welterweight recently. With this whole Sean Brady and Michael Morales fight, I don't understand this fight in the absolute slightest. I think this is a complete matchmaking failure by the UFC. Sean Brady should have been fighting Shavkat or Usman. That is it. You're either fighting Shavkat or Usman. Gary's obviously booked against Bilal, but Sean Brady versus Ian Gary would have been the perfect fight to set up. Since he was booked, I was saying, okay, got to be Shavkat or Usman next. Michael Morales, I mean, this is a crazy leap up for him. I mean, obviously riding a ton of momentum, but I don't understand why you would throw him to a top. Like, there's so many better matchups you could have went. A dream fight for me was Michael Morales and Joaquin Buckley. I think that was a guaranteed fight of the night. I think that could have been a 5-round main event in an arena, and I think it could have sold out an arena. Like, I think that is an amazing 5-round main event. Sean Brady wanted to fight, and Morales is the only person that stepped up from what I hear. I mean, props to both for accepting it. Like, they're both dogs for accepting it. I just think the UFC could have went in so many different directions rather than throwing these two against each other. Like, I just don't think it makes sense. I agree. Put Morales against another veteran. Like, put him against Buckley or another vet. Nobody wants to fight at welterweight. Everyone wants to wait for a title shot. But my thing is, like, yeah, especially with Shavkat and Usman. Like, I don't know what Shavkat is doing. Apparently, sources are saying he re-injured the knee that he was just recovering from. But he's saying he's good to go in February or whatever. Like, I don't know what's going on with Shavkat. If he was active. And personally, I feel like Shavkat is dumb overrated. Like, I've never been like crazy high on Shavkat. I picked Gary to beat Shavkat in December. I thought Gary was going to do it. He came close. He came pretty close. I'm not that. I think Shavkat will always hover around that top 5. Yeah, dude. I think he's made of glass. Like, Shavkat will always hover around that top 5, but I never think he's going to be a champ. I just don't think he's got what it takes.
I don't either.
And with Kamaru Usman, it's like, Gary on a full camp beats Shavkat 100%. 100%. Gary on a full camp will beat Shavkat. And with Kamaru Usman, I think he's just waiting on Islam JDM, because whoever loses that fight, I think they step right into a Kamaru fight, because if it's Islam and Kamaru, that is a fantasy fight. That is an amazing fight.
Oh yeah, that would be crazy.
And then obviously if it's JDM and Kamaru, that's also a banger. That's an amazing fight. So I think Kamaru is definitely waiting to see how the title fight at UFC 322 will shake out. But okay, let's do a quick, if we're I forgot what I was doing. UFC 324, right? If they do it in an Intuit Dome, I want to see Charles Oliveira versus Max Holloway headlining the event. BMF title fight, 5 rounds, main event.
I think it's going to be Topuria.
In a perfect world, I want Oliveira and Holloway. Obviously, Topuria Gaethje, I don't know why they're going with this fight, but I think it should be Topuria.
It's because they heard my prediction. They're like, "Yo, Chris, we got you."
Well, like, why though? Like, why?
I don't know.
That's crazy. You got guys out here like Sean Brady taking fights against Michael Morales, and then you got Justin Gaethje coming off like a split decision win against Rafael Fiziev, saying, "I'm not fighting for the title unless or I'm going to retire." I just think it's crazy the different mental philosophies of these fighters. Max is out with a hand injury. He probably won't be ready for January. It's probably Ilya. Yeah. Okay, so let's assume it's Ilya Gaethje. I'll give you all that. Let's assume it's Ilya Gaethje. Co-main, I think you need a big welterweight fight. Assuming Islam or JDM lose, I want JDM or Islam versus Kamaru to be the co-main. I don't think they're going to go for 2 title fights. I think they're just going to make, one of those big time non-title fights. And, maybe they make it 5 rounds. Maybe they don't. I think in this case, they should make it 5 rounds. I guess rest of the main card, Rafael Fiziev is due for a return. Let's see him back in there on a main card. Maybe Gilbert Burns against Colby Covington could end up on the main card.
I would like to see Colby on that. He's a good name.
Maybe obviously I've mocked up Josh Emmett and John Silva fighting each other. That could go on a main card early in the year. Either way it goes, I think they could definitely stack that card. I wouldn't expect from what they're saying now, I think we do need to expect 2 title fights. So if it is Topuria Gaethje as your main event, maybe your co-main, that would be a good co-main if they do go with the title fight. Maybe they're not going to do Harrison Nunes. They're not going to do.
I think the Usman fight is a good co-main.
Yeah, probably the Usman fight. Like, I think that would make the most sense. Or if you want to do Oliveira, Max is out with a hand injury, so that would have to happen later.
You need Oliveira to wait.
But I do think Holloway and Oliveira should be a main event. Volk is in February. Yes, I agree. February, they're going to Sydney. They're saving Volk for that event. That's why Merab and Jan are headlining 323. And I think it should be Volk versus Murphy. That's the fight that I want to see.
Ooh, you know what I saw too? I saw potentially it might be Lerone Murphy versus Aljo.
Why?
I have no idea. It might be Volk versus Mobsar.
But why? He pulled out against Pico and he's getting a title shot. Like, why are we rewarding these guys for sitting out and not fighting? That is my question. Why are we giving them rewards? The same thing with Gaethje. Like, this makes no sense, bro. Like, it genuinely doesn't make sense to me. I hope it's not. Lerone Murphy should not have to fight again before his title shot. He should be the next guy. It should be Lerone Murphy. And I think it's going to happen in February. I'm going to stick with that prediction. It's apparently Volk versus Lopez too. That's what I heard. Even then, this is too soon to be rushing Diego Lopez straight.
Yeah, I don't like that at all.
I don't like that either. I get that he's a very promotable guy. And if someone was going to beat Volk, they would want it to be Diego Lopez rather than a Movsar or a Lerone Murphy. I just think it's too soon. Give Lopez a do Lopez and Movsar again. Do Lopez versus Movsar 2. I think that is your clear-cut title eliminator. And then I don't know where that leaves Yair. Maybe like Arnold Allen still got to fight. I don't know, dude. Like, I really think Lerone should be getting this title shot. Personally, like,
we'll see.
It just
maybe we should do a
maybe
we should do a podcast predicting what some of these cards could be.
We could. If you guys want to see us do like card proposals in the future, could be an interesting road to go down. But I think the first 3 main events of next year, if it's going to be Ilya. I would hope it's against Patty, but it's looking like it's going to be Gaethje, which I don't agree with. I think they should have went with Patty. This is the biggest time to do that fight. Hopefully Volk versus Lerone. It's ridiculous. There's 2 undefeated contenders and both deserve a title shot. Pick one and book Lopez versus Yair in the co-main. Exactly, dude. Like,
yeah, I agree.
I feel like it's so clear cut for the UFC. I don't know why they're opting to go different. Same thing,
especially with Yair and Lopez chirping at each other like birds. I mean, let them fight, let them duke it out. They clearly
that's my biggest
want to.
problem with Yair. Yair was literally saying, "Oh, nah, it doesn't do me any good to fight him in the promotion. I'll fight him in the streets."
It's like, yeah, dude, go get arrested. Like, sure.
Yeah. What purpose does it serve you? How would it be better to fight him in the streets than fight him in a professional setting for money? That is the biggest cop-out answer I think I've ever heard in my life.
Unless you're Jorge Masvidal against Colby Covington, and then it did happen in the UFC.
Yeah, I don't even know, bro. Like, props on Gary, because we were lumping Gary into this conversation, and then Gary actually took a fight against Bilal. And he's going to try and go out there and prove a point. Credit to him, man. Credit to him. Gaethje and who was it? We're just Yair. Get the memo.
Yair.
Get the memo fast. They should send Yair to Karate Combat.
He would do great there. Him and my guy Robelis de Spain.
I mean, honestly, like, Yair is expendable. Like, he's very, very much expendable.
Oh, and my guy Rafael Alves. What a dog he is. Doing cartwheel capoeira knockouts.
We talk about Ankalaev being a trade piece. Yair Rodriguez is a trade piece.
Yeah, he clearly doesn't want to fight
anyone. At this point in his career, he is. Especially if he's refusing to fight unless it's for a title, which is beyond short-sighted. Absolutely beyond short-sighted. But I do expect the first 3 main events of 2026 will be Topuria Gaethje, Volk versus, I guess, whoever they said to go with, and then Holloway versus Oliveira in March. It gives time for Max. I know Oliveira, he called it out. He's obviously game. If the UFC wants to go back to Brazil in like March or April, put Harrison Nunes and Oliveira Holloway on the same event. With potentially, oh my God, if you want to throw Pereira on there too, low key, like, you could make a very stacked 3 title fight card. But I don't know if the UFC will go that big. The UFC wants a Mexican champ for whatever reason. That's why Yair gets all these gifts. Yeah, I guess that's also why Lopez is going to get thrown in there.
He already had his shot and got worked by Volk.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, Lopez, his fight against Volk comparatively to Yair's was definitely closer. I get it. Like, he's a promotable guy. Like, everyone loves Diego Lopez. Like, he's riding a hot wave right now. Dude, I was throwing him in conversations to fight Max Holloway for BMF before, obviously, Oliveira and all this stuff, with Fiziev pulling out and Gamrot stepping in. I was saying, if Diego Lopez wanted to move up to lightweight and fight Holloway for the BMF belt, that is the perfect matchup you could have made at the time. Obviously, that changed with Oliveira. But it does seem that the UFC really wants to promote Lopez. And honestly, I can't fault him, but I also think it's way too soon to rush him back in with Volk. Early prediction, I think Volk wins another decision. I think he'll literally outpoint Lopez and he'll do his thing again. He's felt Lopez's power before, and he handled it. He obviously got cracked in that second round, went down. If Lopez knocks out Volk in an undeserved title fight, then people would start to hate him for that. I disagree. I don't think people would hate Lopez.
Yeah,
I think that would be more of a reflection of us just being collectively sad that Volk got knocked out again. You know what I mean? Like, I think people would be sad about that more than they'd hate Diego Lopez. Because I don't know. People have been like, obviously Sam is a big Diego guy. I was so salty after he beat John Silva. I literally crashed out. Like, it was bad. But Lopez is popular among the fans. I don't think his stock or his, overall popularity within the fan base would go down if he knocks out Volk. Obviously, when Ilya did it, it took a little bit of time for the fans to really grow into how good this guy was. But that's also because we had just seen Ilya starch Volk. And again, we were taking that sadness out on Ilya for no reason. Like, it's a title fight. You got to do what you got to do to win. But dang, we've been streaming for an hour 40.
Yeah.
I know it's late for you. It's what, 12:45 right now. My computer is running on fumes right now, man. Just like how I feel about Gaethje getting this title shot. But honestly,
I like it. I like it.
If they want him to be a star, then let Volk retire after beating Lerone, then book Evloev versus Lopez 2 for the vacant belt. Then if he wins, he'll be. I think that's the move. I 100% think
I agree with that.
That way you don't lose. The thing is, like, Movsar would have to wait a long time. That'd be a very long layoff for Movsar. And then also Lopez would have to go a while without fighting. I know he wants to get back in the octagon quickly. So I'm very interested to see how the entire featherweight picture shakes out. But if you're still in the stream, man, we've been going for an hour 40. I think we're going to call it here, but make sure you like, subscribe, turn on those post notifications. If you haven't, we stream every week. We're really getting on this grind here. We're going to be putting up our UFC Vancouver predictions in hopefully a couple days. We're going to try and record it tomorrow, get it out to you Thursday. It'll be out Friday. Thursday, we're going to go for Thursday. Hold us to it. But yeah, thank you for hopping in the stream. This is a good one. Had a lot of great debates.
Yes, sir. Tyler, thank you so much for all the combos, bro. And
yeah, Tyler. You're welcome anytime, bro. You're welcome anytime. We appreciate you too. Socials are down there. Go ahead and follow him. War Room MMA Pod. We're going to have things going until the end of the year. And then when 2026 starts, keep an eye out for those little fight companions. We might start doing those too.
We're going to get it going.
Yeah, we're having a lot of fun with this. So we'll see you guys real soon. We'll also try and stream before Saturday. Obviously we'll let you know in advance if that happens. But yeah, good stream. We want to thank you all for tuning in. For Chris Schroyer, I'm Shrikar Gendron. So long from the War Room. See you guys next time.